And okay, there we go. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning, guys.
Yes, welcome to the Unarmed Podcast episode 15 with our very special guest, Sensei Walter or Sensei Wally Gozum. Good evening po, Sensei Os.
Pasenseus.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
All right, we're very excited to have this episode since we wanted to talk about self-defense, and of course, as martial artists, it is an aspect of our training that we cannot miss, right? So there we
Yeah.
go. Before we move on to the main points, what do you call this? We would like to announce muna, no, that KDA is opening its dojo already to face-to-face classes. So
Yeah,
this, yeah, today,
very,
right?
very exciting. Yeah, I
Ayun,
think
yeah.
they started training today, and we're open for
Mm.
face-to-face classes and one-on-one training. So you guys can check out down below the numbers down below of our
Yeah.
secretaries. You can inquire about those trainings. I think we're gonna post a schedule soon. So yeah, keep posted on that, guys.
Right. Yeah, so again, very excited to finally have face-to-face training, and we also offer a blended training. So there's a mix of face-to-face, like once a week, and then twice a week you'll have like an online training. So there you go. Still face-to-face beats online, but then by a
Yeah.
wide shot. So yeah, right. So that's our KDA reopening. Now, moving on to our special guest, Sensei Wali. Ivana, will you do the honors of introducing our
We're
guest?
really excited to introduce our guest tonight. He is a KDA 5th Dan Black Belt. He has an international 4th Dan rank. He was a silver medalist in the SEA Games, Kumite minus 55 kilograms in 1997 and 1999. He was a silver medalist of Asian Shitoryu Championships in 1998. He was a former Philippine team from 1995 to 2001, and he is the former president of KDA from 2016 to 2017. So everyone, let's welcome Sensei Wally Gozum.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening.
So we want to talk about a bit of your background po, today, Sensei Wali. Like your competition career in the national team, no? You won like silver medals, no? How was the like training like before, and then how did you feel like competing, no, as part of the national team
Uh,
representing the Philippines?
yung training dati, I watched your episode with Sensei Shinsuki
Right. Thank you very
and
much.
talagang brought back so many memories. Talaga, yung dreaded na takbo, na
Oh.
sprint sa oval. Kumbaga, the training is very hard as usual. I'm sure kahit kayo, on your own experience, mahirap yung training. Sa amin din ganun. Yung masuka-suka ka palagi.
Oh,
Yung
definitely.
gano'n, no? Yung mahirap. Yeah, so, uh, things are, tsaka aside from hirap ng training, mahirap yung mga situations din dati. No? Uh, kumbaga, in terms of fundings, allowances,
Mm,
kumbaga, I'd say hindi naman sa inaano ko, no. It's just to say na very challenging yung situations noon. No, maski
mm,
mag-training, yung magpapunta ka pa lang ng training, challenge na, no? Na kailangan mo ng panggastos, kailangan mo pangkain.
right.
But we got through it. Kumbaga, those things kasama sa pagiging Pilipinong atleta no? Yung mga challenges na ganun. Kumbaga, for us, pampatibay pa rin yun. Mga ganun. So, yun. So, ganun.
Right, oo nga po eh. So, I have a weird feeling of being proud of Sensei Wally being part of the national team. But I want like a few of your comments, Sensei, about like how was like training back then and how do you see karate now? Like, is there a way it modernized or maybe developed?
Ang layo, no? Talagang for me, pag nakikita ko yung mga training nyo ngayon, training ng mga nagna-national team sa Ultra,
Hmm.
talagang iba, no? Talagang yung technology nag-iba, no? Yung training methods nag-iba. Gumanda, no? Gumanda palalo, kumbaga. That's my opinion, ano.
Uh,
Malaki ang in-improve, malaki ginanda ng mga programa. Yan. So, yun, yung mga ganun. Ano.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So also, yeah, thank you very much. And also, maybe when we have like a little history also about, since Ivana here mentioned that you were a former KTA president, no? Was 1995. Wait, what was the no?
2016 to 2017.
All right.
Yeah.
So how was that like po, Sensei Wally being like a president of or former president of the KTA?
Actually, it was also challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Siyempre, lahat ng organization dumadaan sa mga pagsubok, di ba? So, kumbaga, kahit yung mga naunang presidente sa akin at saka yung mga sumunod na presidente, I'm sure nagkaroon ng kumbaga, nagkaroon ng experience,
Challenges.
matinding experience sa mga pagtalakay o pag-deal dun sa mga challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Ano? Pero everything is all worth it and worthwhile kasi nalalampasan natin as a whole, as a group, as a family, no? Nalalampasan natin yung mga pagsubok na yon, and we'd always come out stronger, no, and bigger, you know. So ganun naman palagi, ganun palagi. So even during my time, yes, there were lots of challenges, no, sa mga events natin, sa mga nangyayari sa atin na in our family, no, pero nare-resolbahan natin at nalalampasan naman natin. So yeah.
Right.
And I'm thankful for everyone also, for our seniors, no, for the juniors, the seniors, na talaga na mga nag-help out palagi, no. So ayun, kami din naman when we were juniors, andun din kami for whosoever na nakaupo. And ganun din yung nangyari sa akin nung ako na yung presidente. Nandun naman para sa akin yung mga senior at saka yung mga juniors din na tumulong. So, maraming salamat.
Yes. Thank you very much also, Sensei Wally, for your service, no? And I think those years, no, KDA has been seeing lots of overall achievements in tournaments, and also developed lots of black belts, no? Black belts that are helping KDA today and seeking their own profession also, no? So there you go. All right, now moving on. Now, finally, we're gonna be talking about karate and self-defense, no? Sorry, before we talk about it, nga pala, we would like to plug in Sensei Wali's blog.
Maybe you guys are wondering why yung title natin tonight is
Karate
Karate Soup.
Soup, right?
Yeah. So
Thank you.
it's actually Sensei Wali's blog, yeah, online, which we I think we posted the link down in the comments.
I
So you guys,
chatted it, yeah, and there's a pinned comment by us, so you can check it out. Sensei Wally has a lot of insightful stuff in his blog. We were very surprised, no? And it was a very good read about a lot of topics from kata, from self-defense, from the Nijukun, the many Nijukun that Sensei Wally has talked about, and being a black belt, really. So there you go.
very
Thank you.
insightful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us, Sensei.
Yeah, very much so. I might be going back to that blog too because I saw some insightful stuff that I wanted to talk about also. But you too. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Sensei Wali's blog. So first of all, I'd like to ask you, Sensei Wali, if you're like a good karateka, does that equate to becoming becoming good at self-defense?
Well, it is a very good foundation. If you're a good karateka, even as an athlete, I'd always say if you're a good karateka, it's very easy to be an excellent athlete. So the same way sa combative or self-defense, if you're a good karateka, it's very easy or advantageous na sa pagdating sa self-defense or combat. So gano'n naman. So because why? Because of the discipline, because of your self-control, no, because of your skill set,
Mm.
talent. So yun, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
I've been under a lot of your self-defense seminars, trainings. Yeah,
Oh,
I wish there were more.
I wish.
But
Oh,
yeah, and I
gagawin
learned a
natin
lot.
yan.
I really learned a lot,
Thank
and it
thank you.
exposed, like, to me, for my experience as a part of the national team, been competing a
Mm,
lot, and in
mm,
my experience, I felt like there was a big gaping hole in like I'm missing something with my karate whenever I attended Sensei Wali's class. Like,
uh,
when there was one part of the training, if I remember correctly, where you were trying to face off someone that was like chasing you, and you had to like defend yourself like continuously, because in karate, in kumite, it's like you just hit once and then you stop.
Yeah.
So that's like a you don't do that in like self defense, because he might still keep going at you. So that's something very different and something that shocked me during the training. So there you are. What are like the oh yeah, talking about self-defense also, what are like the tips or like important points that you teach to your students, Sensei Wally?
with regards to self-defense, of course, sa kahit anong seminar, kahit anong even sa dojo na sa mga estudyante ko, the first thing is awareness. So,
Mm.
that's our very first weapon, no? Yung awareness para ma-avoid natin yung dangerous situation, no? Para ma-recognize natin yung mga threats.
Mm.
Ayan. And then pinaka huli, and also yung siyempre kailangan natin i-swallow yung pride natin, di ba? Kumbaga, kung kayang palampasin, di ba? Sa karate do, siyempre yung self-control, di ba? Yun yung pagtanggal natin ng pride. When you have self-control, mas makakaiwas tayo sa masamang sitwasyon, di ba?
Right.
And very last na talaga, pinakahuli na maasahan mo yung physical defense. No? So yun yung pinakahuling baraha mo. No? So pinaka-importante yung awareness, then your self-control, and then if all else fails, tsaka pa lang yung physical defense. So those are the main points pagdating sa self-defense.
Oh, right. Yes. Oh, nga, that's true. So we always, I think we talked about this before also, no? About having awareness, being able to recognize threats, and like maybe positioning yourself better in an
Yes.
area, being aware of your surroundings, and see if you're in a
Actually,
good position. Yeah.
Actually, I remember one of the lessons kay Sensei Wally before. The first lesson is always trying to calm your opponent down. Na parang kapag aatakihin ka na, di ba? You're always supposed to, para, teka lang. Yeah,
Yeah.
yun yung naalala ko. So that's really
De-
one lesson that's stuck to me po.
De-escalation.
Yeah, that's yeah, right.
You
That's the word.
de-escalate the situation.
Mm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So,
And then the second point also, self-control. No, it's like in our fifth dojo-kun, like seek perfection. No. Refrain from violent behavior. Like,
from
so,
violent behavior.
tama. I think that's also like part of being an athlete. There's some kind of pride. That's like what you said. We have to swallow our pride. No, like I can beat this guy. Like, no, you have to refrain from violent behavior again. Okay, and yeah, and self-defense as a last resort na talaga, right? A few questions rin, because we usually maybe in different self-defense classes, or they teach like using like an open palm as a strike.
Yes.
Is there any reason why to that and not like a punch, like a regular punch that we're taught?
Yes. Because our fist kailangan pang i-develop, no, for a long time, no. Kumbaga tine-training pa yung fist. Ang pinaka-available na kaagad kahit hindi, especially when you teach non-martial artists, di ba, nasa workshop and gusto nilang matuto ng self-defense, ang pinaka-available na kaagad na matigas na is the palm heel strike,
palm heel, right.
yung palm heel, not the palm but the palm heel, no. So ito talaga is mas matigas pa sa fist.
Oh.
Unlike yung fist, kailangan pa natin i-train,
Yeah.
no. kumbaga kahit mga trained na nga, parang na-injury pa, nasasaktan. Ano?
Mm.
So, kaya it's better to use the palm heel, no?
Mm.
And also, when we developed our self-defense program, nag-adapt kami ng mga karate techniques na pwedeng gross motor skills, yung mga natural ang movement. So if it's very natural for you to swing your elbow, then yun yung pinakamaganda for self-defense, elbow strike. It's very natural for you to push, diba? Then palm heel strike, no? Very natural. It's very natural for you to swing your arms, then knife hand strike, no? So, yun yung mga inadapt namin na karate techniques for teaching self-defense kasi mas natural yung yung galaw. So, yung mga punches, that's complex skills, no? So, iba yung gross motor skills, iba yung complex skills, no? So, yung complex skills, kailangan mag-training pa, mag-enroll talaga ng karate.
Right. Yes,
Mag-training
enroll na
talaga.
guys.
Oo.
Enroll na kayo.
Pero
Down below.
kung inimbitahan tayo magturo ng self-defense, no, on a 2-hour, gusto lang nila ng knowledge, gross motor skills, no, natural movements ang pwede nilang ma-acquire, no, but not complex skills.
Right.
So, yun.
Oh, nga, no? Yeah, that's right. Because as athletes, we know this na when you perform in like a competition, you need to practice a lot for it to come out naturally. So I think that's the right point. Gross motor skills, like these lessons are coming back to me again. I need to attend more
It's been so
self-defense
long. It's been
lessons.
so long.
Yeah,
Talaga.
I remember those lessons, but it's like hearing Sensei Wally hear it again, it came back to me again. So I need more
Actually, kahit
lessons.
kami nagre-refresher, no?
Oh.
Before kami nag-workshop dun sa Sensei Dojo,
Mhm.
nag-refresher pa kami ni Eloisa, ni Ma'am Eloisa. Because even us, no, pag matagal na hindi na ensayo, hindi na practice, nakakalimot din, no. Kaya
Right.
dati we constantly practice pa rin this our self-defense program. Tapos we constantly do lectures amongst ourselves. Yung ganun, para fresh pa rin sa amin.
Right.
So,
Yeah. It's like I don't remember what number, which Nijukun that is, but karate or like self-defense is like boiling water. Where it turns cold when you don't
Yeah.
apply constant heat. So there you go. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, we need to keep on practicing this so that the knowledge is still retained and the reactions are there. No. But yeah, you need those gross motor skills, motions and actions that are easy to do, where you don't have to think about it.
Natural. Very natural.
Even for us na nagte-training na ng matagal na panahon, tapos biglang may dumating na situation na sobrang intense, sobrang stressful talaga, very high intensity na situation. And if our complex skills fail us, we can have our gross motor skills.
Right.
So if ever our complex skills fails us, no, nawala. Very stressful situation. Meron pa rin tayong babalikan na gross motor skills, yung mga natural movements, which are very much a part of our karate techniques. No?
Yeah.
Front kick, groin kick, no? So, yan.
Yes,
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Talking about real life
Gulat ako
experiences,
dun, Hindi, joke lang.
parang situations. Since may I ask if bakit nyo po naisipan i-pursue yung self-defense like aspect of
right.
martial arts? And did something happen or parang meron po bang situation na nag-inspire sa inyo na I need to learn this and actually train more of self-defense nga po?
Well, I've told this story many times na, no? And to tell the truth, mahirap din balik-balikan, no? So, pero it's okay, no problem. But the thing is, I will just simplify this, no? Kumbaga, it was a road rage, no? I had my friend with me. It was a road rage, and nung pagkabangga sa amin, naturally, di ba, pag-uusapan yung di ba, yung banggaan, di ba? O, anong gagawin natin? So, bumaba yung friend ko, siya yung driver. So baba siya, then usap sila, pero yung road rage guy, talagang wild siya. So in-escalate niya nang in-escalate. So nung nakikita ko nag-escalate, actually hindi naman ako bumaba ng car din eh, pero nung nakikita ko nag-escalate, bumaba ako. And then yun na nga, bang, okay. So nagkaroon na ng self-defense situation, no? So I engaged, pero if you're asking about my experience, doon ko na experience na yung kagaya sabi ni Alex, wow, ang laki ng gap, no, that we have to fill. Kasi at a very stressful, very intense situation, lalabas yung training mo, yun ang training ko, yung lang, sports lang, di ba? Yung tournaments lang. And actually, the techniques na lumalabas, pulidong-pulido naman eh. Jab, reverse punch, mawashigeri, hooking kick, di ba? I'm not controlling it, no? Pero yung kalaban malaki. So it became a fight. Self-defense is not a fight. It should never be a fight. It's supposed to be getting away, escaping a dangerous situation, no? So dahil ganon, no, very very limited techniques, no. It turned into a fight, and nung basta we got our exit point finally, pero kulang, no. So I realized, wow, kulang na kulang, mali ang hindi naman mali. Kulang lang talaga ang training. So that's when I became interested on filling the gaps, no. Kasi the sport training is nabasa niyo rin naman sa blog ko. Okay yan, no. It gave us speed, gave us endurance, gave us the strength, gave us the agility, very explosive. Yung reflexes mo talaga mabilis, no. Actually, di sa pagyayabang, no, kahit sinong marunong mag-sparring, tapos ordinaryong tao, I can say hindi ka tatamaan. So kumbaga hindi tayo nagyayabang, hindi ako tinamaan. Hindi ako tinamaan. Why? Because of our agility, di ba? Our training.
Right.
So confident lang 'yan, sorry, hindi naman sa yabang 'yan. Just being confident. Na meron kang agility, meron kang speed dun sa athletic training. Totoo naman 'yan, di ba? So the training is still important, but meron lang kailangan i-fill na gap for self-defense, for combat.
Right.
Thank you for sharing with us.
I don't know if the audience remember this or whoever watching is watching remembers, but I think I've said before that like what Wally said also, a fight is not it's not a self-defense situation, because it's like you have to go through the again aside from awareness, the de-escalation, the self-control. If once you put your fists up already, this is like a consensual fight already, so it's no longer self-defense. So yeah, that's why most, in my opinion, maybe I might be wrong, or maybe there's some cases in my self-defense situations are mostly done like in close range, close quarters, because they want to hide their intention and then like surprise you by like bringing out a weapon, concealed weapon. So I might be skipping some, but yeah, we didn't know that on Sensei Wali, and that's an eye opener really. So I always say, for karate, there's like 3 things that you should be good at, like sport karate, like in competition. Also like maybe like MMA fighting, where you can like fight with other martial artists, and also self-defense, becoming able to defend yourself in a self-defense situation, because those 3 are different, very different things, right? And being like what Sensei Wally said also, like reacting to the reflexes that you have, the reflex of like dodging a punch, but the reaction of your what your action will be might be different, or maybe disassociated. Like instead of like going in for a punch, you might just like go in for a kick, which is not really practical in a close range, right? So like the reactions might be different. So that's something else that you have to practice. Yeah. So, what do you call this? I forgot what I was supposed to say then, but thank you very much, Sensei Wally, for that sharing.
Oh,
Um, yeah. Okay. So moving on, right? There's this. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah. No. No.
yeah.
That whole story was very nice, no, and but I didn't really get the rate, but yeah. Now moving on, no, right? So we want to also talk about self-defense and also self-defense against weapons, no? So
Mhm.
this is like a whole different ball game already. Like being able to defend yourself against a knife attack, or maybe even different weapons. Yeah, like a gun, maybe a longer bladed weapon, or a blunt weapon like a steel pipe or spike or bat.
I speak
Mm.
ata.
Yeah, ice
Yeah.
pick, yeah, like a knife also,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I heard you like did Kali or studied a bit of Kali
Yeah,
RDs.
a little bit, just
Right,
to gain an understanding of it. No? So,
right.
hindi ko naman sasabihin na nag-aral ako ng matindi, no? Pero
Mm,
just took the basics of it, pinulot ko yung mauunawaan ko, no, yung maiintindihan ko, and then kumbaga applied it to our expertise, no,
mm,
which is karate. No? So kumbaga I always tell my students na no, I will not claim to be marunong ng arnis, no. Pero
yeah.
I took what I understand with the Kali and took it to karate.
Mm,
So yun ang ano. So yun ang ano natin, diskarte
mm,
natin doon.
right. And also, continuing with that, no, uh, what are your like tips or maybe tips or tricks, Sensei Wally, about a defense against like a knife attack? No, because it's very different, and I think the knife is one of the most dangerous
Yes,
weapons to use,
yes. It's very
since
dangerous, it's
mm,
very personal.
right, the slashing techniques, you can get cut deep a
Oh,
lot, and it's very
oh,
demoralizing to fight against.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
any thoughts, no, or comments about fighting or tips and tricks, no?
Well, kumbaga, first of all, knife, lalo na gun or any weapon,
Mm,
we are at a disadvantage. No, kung wala kang weapon, it's true. No, totoo yun. Disadvantage pag may weapon. Yeah, okay. Uh, so it's important to be able to understand weapons also. No?
mm,
Kagaya ng karate dati, may kobudo siya eh. No?
right.
So that's an inspiration. Kobudo is an inspiration for us, no, to try to understand weapons also. No, kahit na empty hands tayo. So, yun, pagka empty hands naman tayo with regards to knife, kunyari, no, first is awareness pa rin, no? Awareness of the weapon, no? Pagka dinisplay yung weapon or na-deploy, in fact kahit yung nakatago yung weapon, no? When somebody engages you on a verbal conflict, tingin ka na kaagad sa kamay niya, asan yung kamay niya. Tingin ka na kaagad sa katawan niya kung may weapon siya, no? Kumbaga inaasinta mo na kung may weapon siya, kung susuntukin ka niya o babanatan ka niya with his hands. Ayan. So awareness. So yeah, with regards to weapons, nakatago pa lang, ina-assess mo na. May weapon ba to? Nasaan kaya weapon ito? No? Nagdadadakdak pa lang siya.
Mm,
And more pag dineploy yung weapon. Pag dineploy niyo yung weapon, your awareness is also trained, no, na merong weapon na naka-deploy. You will not freeze, no? Yung ganun, no? Aware ka na, oh, uy, may weapon na naka-deploy. Okay?
yeah.
So it's fight or flight. You can either flight, go, or pag fight, engage, no? You can never go to the middle and
Yeah.
freeze.
Mm,
Okay? So it's okay to run. Uy, may weapon.
Alright.
May awareness ka. May naka-deploy na weapon. Takbo. Flight. Okay yun. Okay? Napasugod ka. Fight. Okay yun. No?
mm,
Pero yung nag-freeze ka, tapos tumama na lang sa'yo ng tumama yung weapon, mali yun.
yeah.
So, yun yung kailangan mong pag-ensayuhan. No? Yun ang kailangan mo pag-insayuhan. So ito na, engage ka na dun sa weapon, you have to check the weapon arm. Whether it's a blunt weapon or it's a knife, always hold and keep a check on the weapon arm. No? So, di ba, malikot yan. And yung assailant, hindi siya papayag na hawak-hawak mo yung weapon arm niya at gusto mong i-take yung weapon niya. So, malikot yun, magalaw. Di ba? So, it's very important na may training to check the weapon arm. No? Then, so andito naka in sequence of 1 to 5.
Right.
Pero yung pag-check ng weapon arm, that's very, very important. No? You can counter strike, hindi pwedeng block and counter kasi tatadtarin ka nung weapon. Kaya hindi pwede yung block. Pagka na-block mo, kailangan nasaktan mo na siya. No?
So like two-handed.
Ganon. Yeah.
Same time.
Tapos get away, no? Find your exit point. You can only control, no? Kunyari, in-arm lock mo, or gusto mo i-disarm, never attempt to disarm. Never attempt to disarm.
Okay.
No? It's very, very dangerous. Yun yung reason. Very, very dangerous. Kung meron lang pagkakataon, kasi talagang halos mawalan siya ng malay doon sa strike mo, no? Then nakita mo may opportunity to disarm, okay? You can disarm or wala kang tatakbuhan, no? Tapos may opportunity ka doon, you can disarm. Pero as much as possible or as much as you can, delikado kasi, no? Sobrang delikado mag-attempt mag-disarm, ganon. Yung pag-control naman, let's say in-arm lock mo, yung weapon arm niya, kinokontrol mo siya, okay yun pagka duty bound ka, no? Kung police ka, security ka. Pero kung civilian ka naman, gusto mo lang makaligtas doon sa very dangerous situation, no? Pag nasaktan mo siya, wag ka na rin mag-attempt mag-control, tumakbo ka na, umalis ka na doon sa situation. No? So, yun ang mga pointers natin diyan sa dealing with the weapon.
Okay, yeah. Because I think a lot of people, like including me, might freeze, no? Like seeing a weapon and then trying to decide whether you should run or try to engage with a weapon, or if you're trying to engage, how would you engage with slashing weapon or like a stabbing or a blunt weapon, no? So that's one thing you have to consider.
So para sa ating mga karatista, it's sen-sen, no? Kasi wag mo nang antayin na mag-swing pa wildly ng maraming beses. Kumbaga, sa unang swing niya, sabay yung counter strike sa block.
Okay, right.
Yung ganon. Otherwise, if you miss that chance, yun na nga, ma-imagine nyo na ang likot-likot. Ang likot-likot no, pinauulanan na kayo ng hampas or saksak. No? So, kaya kailangan sen-sen ang pag-deal dun sa
right.
By
counter-strike pala sa Siwan, you mean like a block and an attack at the same time?
At the same time,
Same
yes.
time. Okay.
Yes. A block and an attack at the same time. So,
right.
pagka nasaktan mo siya, check the weapon arm, okay? Hurt him some more, and then get away. Escape.
Right. Yes.
So, don't attempt to disarm. Don't attempt to control. No? So,
Actually,
pero, yeah, depende, again, yun yung ideal. Pero, again, maraming variables sa self-defense. So, depende sa situation. Pag hindi ko siya kinontrol, sugurin ba niya yung kapatid ko? Maraming variable. So, pero, ideal is do not attempt to control, do not attempt to disarm. Yun ang ideal. Escape is your goal. Escape.
Right. Safety first.
So
actually, that's very misleading. Yung mga iba po sa online na self-defense videos, actually, you stated this in your blog po na yung most knife defense skills that are being taught are most likely to get them more hurt instead of trying to get them to safety po. So, is that why po ba? Yung sa disarm part?
Yes, oo. Kasi nga, you're in a very dangerous situation. At saka yung assailant, hindi siya papayag na kunin mo sa kanya yung advantage niya na weapon.
Mm.
Di ba? So definitely, magkakaroon ng matinding laban para dun sa weapon. If you're
Correct.
attempting to
Aggressive.
disarm. Oo. If you're attempting to disarm. So, ang goal mo, makakuha ng exit point, na saktan mo siya enough na makakatakas ka.
Enough.
Ganun.
Okay.
Oo. Kaya na magkakaroon ka ng opportunity to get away. So, yun ang yun ang goal mo. So,
in line also with Ivana's question about like misleading. There's a lot of those misleading or like not very helpful self-defense teachings, no? Like because I wanted to talk about like how other people like try to teach self-defense, like they're gonna try to attack you like this and like that, but most of the time, I think like what I said earlier, like the assailants are gonna try to conceal their intention. So usually it's gonna happen in almost like in a last second or maybe in a different like a hold up, right? You're not gonna notice it like from afar where they're gonna brandish their weapon already.
yes,
Mostly it's gonna be they're gonna go close to you, creep up to you, and then maybe threaten you na that at such a close quarter range, no? What do you think about those, Sensei Wally? Because yeah, sige. What do you think about those?
Yun na nga, kailangan na ma-understand ng mga instructors maigi ang mind ng weapon. So when I say mind ng weapon, yung mind ng nagwi-wield ng weapon, whether holdupper siya, psycho siya, drug addict siya, no? So kumbaga when you practice kasi to be able to understand what I'm saying, dati when I was a colored belt, we have knife defense, no? So attack like this, and then the sequence of defense, chug. Yun na nga, walang understanding nung mind ng attacker, di ba? Hindi mangyayari yung ganun lang na klase na atake. So it's better to understand the principles and teach how to handle the situation, no, through your understanding ng principle ng attack of the knife, no, principle ng blunt object, di ba? So yung mga ganon. And then from those principles you can formulate your techniques na mas practical. No? May lalabas sa'yo na technique na practical, no? So kunyari si Alex, so I want to teach this knife defense. So he tries to understand first the behavior of the knife, and then I'm very sure Alex will be able to come up with a very realistic defense against a knife. Ganun lang. No, kumbaga understand mo maigi muna yung behavior ng knife or ng blunt object. Or that was the only reason kasi wala na rin naman akong time kumbaga sa modernong panahon natin busy na tayo. Gusto ko mag-arnis pero wala na akong time pa na maibubuhos
time and money pa.
May karate na tayo, no? Pero so that's what I tried to do, no? I just tried to get an understanding of the principles that I can. Siyempre malawak yan, no? So for a short period of time maintindihan mo na. Siyempre hindi naman. Continuous pa rin na pag-aralan mo siya, nood ako YouTube, basa ako libro, continuous pa rin naman, Pero sayang na hindi na ako makapag-ensayo ng arnis pa, no? So kumbaga for me sayang. Pero I do what I can. Yun na yung magagawa ko. But my point is, get an understanding. No? Try to understand the principles of the weapon. Kung ano man yun.
Actually, Sensei, di ba po, you mentioned na when you were a brown belter, you had knife defense as part of your curriculum. Yeah. And as we know now, it's not really a part of the brown belt curriculum na po. So why do you think Sensei did it stop, or parang when did it stop kaya? Kasi I really have no idea when it stopped na
Hindi,
being
ano
part of
eh,
it.
when we formed KDA, iba na yung inadapt nating curriculum, which is kung ano
Ah,
na yung mga napapanahon, no? Ano ba yung napapanahon? Kasi ano na eh, talagang mas lalo pang nag-modernize ang karate. Eh. Di ba? Yung sport, lalong nag-evolve yung sport. No? So that's why. No? That's why. So nakita nyo naman yung si Alex, kahit batang-bata pa yan, no? Nagkaroon na tayo ng KTT program, di ba?
mm,
Kumbaga our direction is towards na rin dun sa kung ano yung nangyayari sa community ng karate at that time. No?
Do you think Sensei we
Nag-change na
should,
eh. Iba na.
yeah,
Ano
po.
no?
Do you think we
Yeah.
should put it back in the curriculum po? Like today?
What I would like to advocate, what I would
mm,
like to advocate. Kagaya ni Alex, sabi nga niya, pag-attend niya ng seminar, then he realized there's a huge gap. But
mm,
he's still an athlete, no? So, for me, I was an athlete and I continued to practice sport karate even na 'di ba training tayo sport tayo doon sa gym ganyan I continued 'di ba kahit na hindi na
right.
tayo manlalaro I advocate to have a holistic program no na kumbaga kunyari kunyari triangle footwork ng ng arnis no sa atin sa karate again dinadala natin sa karate no gusto lang natin i-adapt sa karate so if we're going to do that triangle footwork it's the same as the ladder training
Mm,
no it's for your agility it's for your coordination it's for developing speed you know so for me, I experienced that. No, I was doing the footwork, no? The triangle, bam, 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 bam. Binitawan ko yung stick. I went jab, reverse punch, no, roundhouse kick.
mm,
Pwede, no,
right.
pwede. Pero ano yung extra? Natuto ako mag-coordination sa blunt object,
Mm,
no? Pero may tournament akong lalaruan, paano yan? Kailangan ko yung footwork. Ayun, pwede, meron. Ano? So, in my personal experience, uh, finding the approach, pwede, no, pwede. Wag na tayong manghinayang na baka pag practice ko to, maiwan ko tong isa. For example, no, I post doon sa blog ko yung mga exercises, di ba? Our modern exercises, mga functional workout as an athlete ay pwede nang ipamalit sa Hojo Undo or traditional strengthening ng karate.
oh,
Nagigets nyo? Di ba? So dati merong mga equipment na ishi, mga ganon, no?
mm,
Mga
oh,
chishi. Ngayon, kettlebell, dumbbell. So, no? So, you can see, no? Makikita nyo, pwedeng mag-merge ang training ng dalawa, no? May switch ka na lang, magkakaroon ka na lang ng switch na sa tournament ako. Tapos,
Opo.
nag-escalate yung situation, magse-self-defense ako.
mm,
Magkakaroon ka na lang ng switch. Pero, it's really very possible.
right.
It's really very possible. Yung mga awareness drills ng self-defense, na-experience ko, hindi na ako manlalaro, pero pinag-spar tayo kunyari sa dojo, nagagamit, no? Nagagamit yung in-exercise mong awareness, magagamit mo dun sa opponent na kaharap mo, di ba? Kasi aware ka sa movement niya. When your opponent moves, you move, di ba? So,
Mm,
nagamit yung mga exercises ng awareness for self-defense, for combat, doon sa laro, pakipaglaro din sa komite. So, merong ways no, na ma-merge, we can come up with holistic approach no, with sports training, tapos dali niya na rin yung self-defense. No? Yung self-defense, madadali niya rin yung sport training, ganun.
Right.
So, yun.
Yeah. A funny image popped out to my head, no? Like, what if you're doing ironies and karate, no? You see you join an ironies tournament and suddenly like throw a kick and then jab your response, no? Or maybe like you actually bring your sticks to your kumite match. No, but yeah, actually,
Actually, yeah, yung malilito is siguro yung beginner. Pero
mm,
kung kagaya nyo na adept na rin sa karate, it's not confusing,
mm,
yeah, it's not,
I see.
no. Kasi ang martial arts may mga universal stuff naman yan eh.
Oh,
Di ba? Yung kumbaga yung footwork,
yeah,
pretty much very universal, no? Yung mga ganon, ano. So,
right.
yeah, yung body mechanics, hip twisting,
Yeah.
no, it's very universal. Kung marunong ka na, marunong ka na talaga. Alam mo yun?
Oh, that's an interesting concept, no? Universal in different martial arts.
Yeah,
But
oo. Meron siyang core na kahit anong
mm,
martial art, parehas lang. Merong core.
I see. I wanted to also talk about like what Ivana said, no? Um, how about like training, bringing back training, self-defense with weapons naman, rather than against. Because back then, no, you mentioned Kobudo, right? And it's a Okinawan martial art, and it's back then it was practiced like side to side together karate because they're like brother and sister in martial arts, no? So they would like maybe train like karate and then also the traditional weapons of Kobudo. What do you think, Sensei, about like should we if we were to incorporate like a weapons training and with our karate, would you advocate rather like more a traditional sense like of kobudo or maybe like a more modern self-defense system like training with knives, guns, or
Yeah,
like different modern weapons today?
kasi yung napakaganda ng traditional weapon art, no? But then again, kagaya ng any other traditional martial arts, you would have to find a very good teacher,
Mhm.
di ba?
Right.
Sa sa modern weapons, yun na nga, kagaya nung sabi ko kanina, pwede na tayong mag-invento, no? We just try to understand the weapon, okay? And then try to adapt it in our training, no? So kaya ginawa namin nila Doc Jan, no? We adapted the knife to our training. Then we adapted the blunt object or stick into our training. Then we go to a gun range. Kung sino yung mas knowledgeable, siya yung nagpo-provide ng extra pang mga knowledge. Like si Doc Jan, mas knowledgeable talaga siya sa gun. So he provided us with more training sa gun. So ganun ganun na lang yung proseso. Because for traditional weapons, we'd have to find a good school, a good teacher to teach us. Di ba?
I
So
see.
yung ganon. Oo.
Yeah.
Actually, gusto ko sana ng nunchucks pero yeah, I cannot find a good teacher. Di ba?
Right. Kasi I think the concept kasi
YouTube lang.
oh right. I think the concept kasi of like Kobudo is that like training with these different weapons like the bow, the nunchucks, the sai, and other traditional Okinawan weapons are that if you know how to use these weapons, it's I think you can know how to use other different weapons, no, that
Yes.
are very similar. And so this karate by Jesse and Camp has by the way, a very excellent karate YouTube channel, no?
Oo, kasi
Jesse and Camp.
sinusubaybayan ko yan.
Yeah, he has a video about weapons, traditional weapons versus modern weapons, no? Like East versus West daw, ganun. So they had a challenge like which weapons are more effective, like the traditional or the modern ones. And it almost looked like maybe Jesse's such an expert now say it looked like the traditional weapons were very much more deadlier, and then the modern weapons were just adequate enough, no. So yeah, very awesome, very nice video by Sensei Jesse.
Tama naman siya eh. Yung swordman siya or sai, it's just to train you, to develop you, to be able to use mas any ordinary objects sa kalsada, di ba? You picked up a stick
Like a
and
stick,
you
yeah.
use it as a tonfa, di ba?
Yeah,
Ganon.
all right, Confas,
So,
yeah. That's
ganun
what he
din
did in
yung
the video too.
ganun yung concept din naman niya. So, yeah, very enlightening nga din.
Yeah, that's
Maganda.
right.
So,
But,
yun.
yeah, moving on also, thank you very much no, for your insight with weapons. Moving on, no, what about you had a seminar recently nga pala, no, Sensei Wally, in Senshi?
Yeah.
Senshi. Yeah.
Senshi Dojo.
Yeah, and it was about you were
Women's,
teaching women's defense, no?
Yeah.
Is there a different approach in like teaching self-defense for women than it is for men? Is there like a different like technique or approach or system? Can you talk about that? Yeah, Sensei Wally.
Syempre, pretty much it's the same. Pero sa women, merong extra because merong mga threats na mas likely sa kanila. Kumbaga, kunyari, for example, sexual harassment. Pwede rin mangyari sa lalaki yon, syempre. Pero, mas kumbaga mas threat siya na mangyari sa babae. Although pwede siyang mangyari sa lalaki, di ba? So may mga ganun eh. May mga scenario na i-address doon sa self-defense class na yon na mas appropriate doon sa women, ano? So for example, yun nga, mga domestic violence, di ba? Or even violence sa kakilala, di ba? Yung mga ganon, di ba?
Yeah.
Sa dating, di ba? Yung mga ganon.
Right.
So again, pwedeng mangyari sa lalaki, pero for me, mas malaki ang possibility na mangyayari siya sa babae. So may extras. Pero ganun pa rin yung yung panimula namin, awareness drills, tactical awareness, no? Pagdating sa physical defense, meron kaming dagdag. May extra kami for threats na mas possible
Likely to
mangyari sa mga
happen,
babae,
right.
sa women. So yun.
Yeah.
Like
Sorry. Yeah, because we had like a topic with Attorney Paul no before, and we were talking about like the battered wife, and like laws that protect women, wives, and even children also. So yeah, that makes sense, no? Like it's more likely to happen. So especially we need to advocate like women's empowerment and being able to defend themselves so that they feel safer and being in a work environment or a public environment, no? So I think it's very important, yeah. But sorry, continuing po, Sensei Wally.
Hindi, yun lang. Kumbaga, let's say we taught defense against grabs, kunyari. Iba pagka ang lalaki ay grinab ng assailant. Iba yun. Whether, susuntukin siya, no? Intimidate na kinikwelyuhan, na i-headbutt siya. Kumbaga, ibang senaryo ng lalaki pag grinab siya. Iba rin yung senaryo sa babae pag grinab siya. No? The assailant wants control over her. No? Nagigets nyo? So, yun yung differences na bakit meron tayong ina-address sa self-defense for women na iba sa self-defense in general. No? Ganun.
If I may ask po, Sensei, since we're talking about self-defense for women, it's not, hindi naman po natin parang hindi maintindihan, hindi masasabi na mas malakas po yung man or, they're really bigger and they're stronger than women. So what are your tips po for women to be able to defend themselves from bigger and stronger opponent po?
Ito yung kunyari mataas ang level of threat, yung kumbaga talagang kasi dinidifferentiate ko rin yung yung kaopisina mo, kunyari kaopisina nila o kaklase nila, as they just have to assert themselves, no? Diba? Ayan, no? So, iba yung tinuturo namin doon. Iba rin yung tinuturo namin approach or techniques pag mataas yung level of threat, no? Na talagang they are in grave danger, no? So pagdating sa they are in grave danger, mataas ang level of threat, basta sabi nga ng iba na malaki, malakas, no? So then you'd have to strike, and you'd have to strike on soft targets, no? Soft targets are eyes, no? Nose, di ba? Throat, di ba? Groin, ayan, the ears, no? Yan yung mga soft targets na nasa harapan mo na, no? Kung ikaw yung defender. All right? So yun, yung para kahit gaano siya kalakas, makaka-create ka ng opportunity to be able to get away or escape. Kasi talagang masakit, no? Yun.
Right.
Ngayon, naku, totoo ba yan? It's very hard to hit the soft. It's very hard to hit the eyes, no? The throat.
Lalo,
You have to be
Ang hirap
accurate.
targetin, ang hirap targetin because ang nasa isip ng mga tao is consensual fighting. No? They're thinking, ang immediate na thinking ng mga tao is fighting, no? Especially martial artists. When they think about self-defense, they're thinking about self-defense, but what they visualize is fighting, no? So when you're in a self-defense situation, very close, no? The assailant is up on your face. It's very easy to hit the soft targets. Especially pagka nagkaroon ng mga pambuno, no? Naggragraban kayo, nagkakagraban kayo, it's very easy to hit the ears, the eyes, the nose, the groin.
You can put the hand like in the head and then just gouge it with your,
The reason kaya sinasabing
Right.
napakahirap tamaan ng mga target na yan, kasi iniisip nila sparring.
yeah,
Hindi ko matamaan. Diba? So, when you want to practice or train for self-defense, do not make the mistake of visualizing fighting. You know, it's different, di ba? Self-defense, hindi kayo nagkakaasintahan lang, nagkakasalitaan, o nagkakatitigan, tapos hindi mo alam yung intent niya, tapos ayun na pala, bumanat na intent. Iba yung you're engaged into a fight or sparring, no? A contest, no? Na ito yung technique na nag-work, ito yung hindi nag-work. No? Iba yung nag-aaway sa nabulaga ka, tapos nag-self-defense ka. No? Ay, bag, self-defense. No? Kesa yung iba yung nagkakaporma, nagtatimingan, no? Diba? Nag-engage dyan, no? Naka-engage pareho ng fighters. Diba?
Right.
Magkaiba yun.
I have an interesting question now po. I was just curious about this because since we're talking about women's self-defense also, and I think because women also had a lot of disadvantages with how, like for example, they have longer hair, so their hair can be grabbed easily. Or in like an office situation, some people, some women might be wearing like high heels, or which is disadvantages for their like footwork. So is there any like do you teach like self-defense on heels or like what? Do you talk about these weaknesses that women like have?
Well, I'd say use your disadvantage to your advantage. So kunyari naka-heels, groin kick ko, bang, nasaktan. Tinanggal ko yung heels ko. Pinampalo ko yung takong ng heels. Bang, no? Pinampalo ko sa soft targets.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's really resourceful.
Pero syempre, kung all the time, suot mo yung heels mo, pinantakbo mo, no? Tumakbo, pinantakbo mo pa yung heels, you are at a disadvantage. Diba? So, gano'n. So yung mga ganung bagay. Yung hair pull, that's a good example. We tackled a lot of defense against hair pulling, no? So, yan, turo tayo ng techniques na para sa mga hair pulls. So, yung mga ganon, ano? So,
Right.
yan.
And kasi usually men are, like what Ivana said, a bit like bigger, no? And
Oo.
I think maybe women, yeah, it's good for women to be able to exercise also, and a bit of not really- yeah, a bit of strength training, but yeah,
Oo.
together with these self-defense techniques so that they can easily, or no, sorry, not easily, or yeah, to defend
At least
themselves
they have a
properly.
knowledge to defend
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, kaya kaya whenever we teach or whenever we hold the self-defense seminars, tapos, di ba, mga non-martial artists yung participants, and then they just want to gain knowledge on how to deal with dangerous situations. At the end, we always promote, we always advocate that they train martial arts, especially karate. But kung ano man ng martial arts, we still encourage them. Kung ano gusto yung martial arts, yan. But we promote karate. We're karate. But if you want to take up arnis, jiu-jitsu, kumbaga, it's an advantage. If you want to be able to gain more skills for self-defense,
Right.
So, yun. So, it is an advantage kung may training ng martial arts.
I also want to talk about self-defense in different situations and locations, no? Like for example, how do you defend yourself like in a tight corridor, or maybe when you're back against like the wall, or maybe in like a crowded public area, no?
Yes.
Like yeah, there's like you're in a concert, no? Yeah, a party, and then someone's trying to hold up you for some reason in a public area. But I mean that's possible. Like being sexually harassed as a woman in a party is also a
Very common
yeah, happens a lot.
situation. Yeah.
Right. No? So do you train your the students in different like maybe situations like that, Sensei?
Marami, no? Kumbaga, ang ginagawa namin, pagka nag-self-defense training, we practice mga self-defense scenarios. Gagawa kami ng scenario, and then iraran namin yung self-defense na diskarte. No? So, kung kunyari crowded kunyari masikip na hallway or alley, you use that again to your advantage, no? You can have your back against the wall para hindi ka maikutan sa likod. Also, yung tight space, you can be able to deal with your opponents, lalo na kung multiple opponents, you can deal with them more effectively. No? Kasi hindi ka masusugod ng lahat. Ilan lang yung makakasugod sa'yo.
Pipila pa sila.
Pipila pa sila. Mas narrow yung place, mas lalong maganda. Kasi isa-isa lang ang makakalaban mo. No? So, tactical awareness, you use your disadvantage to your advantage. No? Mga ganon. Crowded place, a club, ganyan-ganyan. Tapos nag-sexual harass. For me, ang kalaban ng criminal is time and attention.
Oh yeah.
So, crowded place, merong nang harass sa akin, I can call for attention, di ba? Maging loud ako doon, ako babae, no? Ano ka ba? Bastos yan. Ano nangyari? Ito, ano yun?
Oh, right. Yeah, in a public area, like in a jeep, no? Or train.
Yeah,
Pumalag ikaw, di kita inaano, di ba? But at least, you gain attention of others, no? Na hindi na mag-escalate pa yung situation, ano?
If I may ask po, Sensei, no, since you said po na parang you call attention, paano po if they have a weapon, tapos parang sinabi na, wag kang maingay, ganyan. Parang ganun po. How do you defend yourself po pag ganung situation na, tapos crowded place, bawal kang magingay, paano?
Well, kung hold up yun, again, bigay mo na, no? cooperate, di ba? Kasi kumbaga, pag kung pera-pera lang, ibigay mo na, it's not worth your life. Aabot lang naman sa kailangan mong depensahan yung sarili mo kung talagang ano ka na, no, delikado ka na. Let's say binigay mo na yung wallet mo, binigay mo na lahat ng material mo, and then ayaw ka pa rin tantanan, ano, sumama ka sa amin, no, yung mga ganon, no. Yung tawag namin crime scene 2, no. Kumbaga, kung meron pang crime scene 2, it's an option, it's already something, a thing to think about defending yourself, no. Yung ganon, no. So kung na complyan mo na yung crime scene 1, ito yung wallet ko, ito, sumama ka sa akin, iba na yon, iba na, no? So yung mga ganung bagay, no? Let's say this happened to my to somebody I know, na kinorner siya. So binigay niya yung wallet niya, kinuha yung pera, syempre, tapos tinignan pa kunyari yung wallet niya, and then ikaw yung gumulpi sa kasamahan namin, sumama ka sa amin, yung mga ganun, kakaiba na yon, no. So kumbaga, yung chances mo 50-50 talaga. Sumama siya, syempre comply. Nag-comply siya, sumama siya, tapos kinuhanan pa siya ng iba't iba pang bagay dun sa street corner, no. So pero kumbaga, ay buti na lang ganun lang, no, na kinuhanan lang din siya ng mga bagay. Pero yun na nga, mag-iisip ka na, no. Paano kung hindi ganun, no? Paano kung pinagtripan ka pa, ginulpi ka. So kumbaga, crime scene 2, no? Iba. So doon ka mag-iisip na, kumbaga madali naman talaga, bigay mo na lang, hold up, bigay mo na. No? Anything that can be replaced by money, comply ka, bigay mo. Pero kung threatened yung buhay mo or kalagayan mo, doon ka mag-iisip, fight, flight, no? Mag-iisip. Okay. So yun ang doon. Yun ang difference. So yung kunyari natutukan ka na, yun yung tinatawag namin na sobrang late na ng awareness mo. So survival mode ka noon, no? So kasi maaga yung awareness mo, na-avoid mo yung situation. Na-late ka ng konti, ay, boom, tapos nakatakbo ka. No? Pero yung talagang na-pin ka, no, nahawakan ka sa leg, tapos natutukan ka ng knife sa sa tagiliran, very late.
Late awareness.
Sobrang late na nung awareness mo. No? So meron kaming stages of awareness. So paano yun, sir? Paano gagawin pagka gano'n? No? Yung third na, no? Sobrang late na ng awareness. So, survival mode ka. Yun na, whether makipag-negotiate ka, ano bang problema, sir? O yan, no? Wala akong atraso, no? Or bigay mo, ito pa, meron pa akong pera dito. Survive, no? Survival mode, no? Okay? Binaunan ka, survival mode, no? Kumbaga bumaon yung kutsilyo, laban, pak, laban, no? Survival mode. Pagka nandun ka na sa sobrang late ng awareness mo. Alright? So kaya as much as you can, ayaw nating mapunta doon. Ayaw nating mapunta doon sa third stage of awareness na sobrang late. At least mapunta ka man lang doon sa second, no? Na-late ka ng konti, nakareact ka pa to escape pa, okay. No? Pero mapunta ka doon sa pangatlo na survival mode ka na, ganun na kahirap. So, yan.
Adding on to that po, Sensei, since we're talking about awareness and being alert po, can you give us tips on how to actually train that? And yung para po, paano po namin may enhance? Yeah. How can we be more aware of our surroundings? Especially po pag, yun nga, crowded places, your senses are drowned with noise and traffic, mga ganun po.
Alright. Very good question, First of all, sa ating mga traditional martial arts, kagaya ng karate, no? Kung Fu, ayan, di ba? Aikido. Tayo sa atin sa karate, no? Traditional martial art. What do we do before we start training? Mukso, no? So our tool to exercise our awareness is meditation. No? So I don't know, maraming kontra dyan, pero sa ating mga traditional martial artists, isa yun sa ating mga exercises, yung pagbumukso or meditate. Diba? That enhances our awareness. No? So, of course, sa loob ng dojo, napaiksi ng ating mukso. Pero you can always practice that kasi syempre practical. No? But you can always practice that on your own. At home, you can practice your mukso to enhance your awareness. No? Also, when you go out sa labas, sa kalsada, di ba, isa sa Nijuku natin is think that you have a million opponent. Di ba? So, ibig sabihin nun, also, isa sa ibig sabihin nun, kasi malawak syempre, is awareness. No? Isa sa ibig sabihin nun is paglabas mo ng bahay, practice mo yung awareness mo. No? You always do a quick survey. No? Pag sumakay ka ng bus, try to do a quick survey. No? And listen to your gut feel. Kung okay ba to, o upo na ba ako, o bababa ako. No? Pasok ka restaurant, do a quick survey. No? Andun yung gusto ko yung exit doon. No? Okay, andun yung exit, may fire extinguisher here. Andun yung buffet. Advantageous position, andun yung buffet. Doon ako. No, awareness, no? You do quick survey. So you try to practice your awareness, no? Yung mga napapanood nyo sa movies, sa mga spy movies, totoo yung exercises na yun, no? You open your ref, close the ref, and try to enumerate as many as you can kung ano yung nakita mo sa ref, no?
Really nice.
Quick one, boom. Then sara mo kaagad yung ref, and then try to enumerate kung ilan ang matatandaan mo dun sa loob ng ref na yan.
Pero,
so, mga ganon.
Sensei, baka magutom ka nun pag ganon
Oo. Malamang i-raid mo yung ref. Ano? Raidin mo yung ref. So, there are a lot of it. Sa atin, sa training natin ng karate to, no? So, mukso. And then, yung pagka ano tayo, no? Kunyari, gohon kumite tayo, sanbon kumite, that's also training our awareness, no? So you learn about distancing, you learn about timing, and you also enhance your awareness. How? When you're the attacker, babato ka ng intent, di ba? When you attack, you're a defender, you attack with the spirit of killing with one blow, no? Nagbabato ka ng intent sa kanya na pabagsakin mo siya. Okay? Kung ikaw naman yung defender, nararamdaman mo, in fact, pag beginner, di ba, natataranta, nararamdaman niya yung pressure from the attacker pagka matindi yung attacker, di ba, kahit na-control yung technique. Na-experience niyo ba yun na Kyonipon or Sanbon Kumite? Para kayong natataranta dun sa attacker nyo, di ba? Kasi parang talaga susugurin kayo, no? With intent. So, meron kayong nararamdaman, no? So, meron kayong awareness dun sa nasa harapan nyo. And then finally, when you get to your counter, no, TI, no, shout kayo, nag-counter kayo. You feel your 360 degrees, no? You feel your surroundings, no? Get the sense of everything. Okay? So, dun sa training na ginawa nyo ng Kihon Kumite is also a training for your awareness, no? So, yun yung marami tayong ganung stuff. No? So our Sanshin alone, no? Even if you're a committee player, Sanshin, you're supposed to have a remaining mind sa opponent mo, di ba? Oo. So that's also exercising your awareness. You know? But what usually happens nowadays, pag score yung athlete, tatalikod na siya, relax na siya. Para lang talaga siyang naglalaro. Wala na yung combat spirit na nakascore siya, sanshin siya, may awareness siya dun sa kalaban hanggang sa magyami. Yami. Tsaka lang siya bibitaw ng awareness.
Right. Yeah.
Diba?
I have lots of experience in awareness, but correct me if I'm wrong lang, Sensei, no? Because the way we train awareness is by mukso, and it helps train our awareness because when we meditate, we have to be thinking about what do you call this? being at the present moment now, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
you have to be like aware of your surroundings, and that's how we train our awareness. Is that correct, Sensei Wally?
Yes, that's how you exercise, no?
Exercise,
Your
right?
awareness.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, parang muscles, ina-exercise natin para lumakas ng lumakas.
Mm.
By doing our mukso, we also exercise our
Awareness.
intuitiveness.
Awareness
No?
muscles.
Our intuitiveness.
Right.
Yun.
Yeah.
So,
In my experience also, kasi another form of meditation which I found out, no, is like performing or fighting. And
yes,
I
yes.
think it's because of that, of the mukso training. It comes out whenever I perform, if whenever I do kata or even kumite, when I spar with someone. Like for example, when I do kata, and when I perform in competition, I don't you don't think about the next movement na. It's like what they say muscle memory already. So you don't have to think about it. It all comes out all accordingly already. And
Yes,
when
yes. Oh.
it's like, and I don't think anymore. So, and when it comes to kumite naman, y- most of the time I don't remember what happened in the fight. If you ask me at the end of the fight what happened, I don't know.
Yes.
I,
Oo.
I lost. I won. Ganun, or ganun.
Oo, tama.
So, kasi it's like I don't think anymore. Well, the only time I think naman is when I have the luxury to think where I don't have to be in the zone, no.
Yes,
So,
yes,
but
yes.
when a opponent is tough, like sometimes I don't have to think, and everything I do is just like a reaction na lang, eh. So,
Autopilot.
yeah, it's like the training kicks in, and then everything is just reaction without thinking, no. And that happens to me a lot more than I can um, admit to. And
Tama
I
yan.
think,
Oo.
yeah, that's something that we need to learn also for self-defense, no? Kasi that's also a different situation, because you can black out, or you can have your reflexes and your training kick in for you to be able to defend yourself. So that's amazing, no? Train your
Tama,
awareness for
tama.
that.
Oo, tama. Kasi ano movement, tawag natin dyan sa kata at sa kumite, moving meditation.
Right, yeah.
Moving
Oo.
meditation. Oo.
Moving
Kaya
meditation.
talagang tama ka, totoo yan. Para ka nang nag-meditate, no?
Mm.
Especially when you went into the zone, no? Everything just happens and fell into place, no? You were moving as your opponent was moving, you were moving, no?
Mm.
Ganun. So
Actually,
yeah.
mm, yeah, I'd like to, kasi while I was reading the very first blog you posted, no, there's a very beautiful line that you said. Let me, if I may read it, no.
Yeah,
So there are no longer techniques, but instead there are movements. My mind is focused on how each movement feels, because when you understand the movement, it is easier to apply the kata to respond to any kind of attack. No, and that's the what you posted, kata as the true essence of karate do,
It's
blog.
really
Yeah. So also this is my awareness kata practice. And lastly, you said I do shadow boxing kata practice. No, it's I think a lot of karate or martial arts people do a lot. Doesn't have to be kata, but the techniques that they trained with. So they like imagine like an attack, and then they in their head, this is what I'm gonna do. So it's really amazing, though.
Oh,
Actually, also before we go to the topic of that, one last question before moving on. No?
sige,
Uh,
sige.
what's the how do you or what are the tips and tricks also in when you teach self-defense against numerous opponents also?
group of
Because
Yes.
I think a lot of people, especially women, are this happens a lot to them also in self-defense situations. Now it's not just one person, but they might have an accomplice,
yeah.
diba?
Oh,
Maybe one or maybe even more. So you might be fighting five people, and now
Mm.
next thing you know, you're surrounded na. Especially if you have like that late awareness that you
Yeah.
said, no. How do you defend against that po?
Yeah, so regarding multiple opponents, no. Again, awareness would be your first weapon, no?
Mm-mm.
So nakita mo na kaagad yung threat, and then tactical awareness, makaka-position ka na uh, to your advantage, no? For example, when you're being confronted, no, by a group, tapos nag-escalate, no, shouting at you, ganyan, tapos pumapali, slowly they're positioning themselves. Diba? Dapat ikaw din, huwag kang naka-stay put lang, no? You're also positioning yourself, no? So how will you position yourself? Sabi nga ni Musashi, no, one against many, you line them up, no? Parang barbecue. So when you position yourself, you're going to line them up, no? So yan, no? So kunyari kino-confront ka nitong apat na to, and then they rush into you, the same as sidestepping. So sa one-on-one opponent, you sidestep, di ba? You get out of line. One to many, you also sidestep. Okay? Maaga pa lang, paano ang dami, 10? No? Maaga pa lang, pumuposisyon ka na. Habang nagsasalita ka pa lang, pumuposisyon ka na. Hindi ako lalaban. Pumuposisyon ka na. Get the position that you will be able to escape. No? Again, you will not fight them. You want to escape them. No? So, when you line them up at sumugod sila, you use, kunyari, nasaktan ko yung isa, you will use that as your cover from the rest of the group. No? So, kunyari, pagsugod nila, na-sidestepan ko na yung buong group, no? I dealt with one person, so you can deal with them one at a time, no? Kasi di ba? Kung naka-attend ka nung I think we had one seminar na nagtackle tayo ng multiple opponents. No?
I remember that.
So I hope the others can visualize what I'm saying, no? Na so sidestepan mo yung buong grupo, and you can deal with them one at a time. So yung nasaktan mong una, you can use him as
like
a shield.
Yeah.
From the rest. And then you can have your exit point, no? Try to escape that very dangerous situation, no? So yun ang tips tips natin.
I remember I remember that seminar. It's like you sidestep and then deal with that one person that's near you, and then after that you can use him like as a shield or like a barrier or a buffer between you and the other attackers, no? And then when they try to reposition and then maybe push him out, and then other opponents. So yeah, that's the practice that we did. I remember.
And if you get your exit, go ahead and exit.
If you get a chance. Right. Yeah, that's also important. I'm forgetting again. If you have the chance to escape,
run. It doesn't have to be like a movie na you'd have to fight them all and tumba silang lahat.
Right.
It doesn't have to be like a movie. Once you get your exit point, you get your opportunity to escape, you escape.
Yeah. Again, you have to swallow the pride. Maybe 1 against 5, you took down like 3 or 4 already, and then you're like, oh, I can take on the last one. Tapos he pulls out a gun na pala, wala na. Or a secret weapon. So you have to swallow that pride. Tama. So thank you very much. Right, I remembered a lot again. So moving on now, this is something that I also wanted to study about self-defense, is that doing kata. Because I see kata and its bunkai or the purpose as more of self-defense, because I remember like in the Ninjukun, I don't know the number, which number it is. Kata, doing correct forms, kata is different from doing kumite, no? So
actual fight. No?
Yeah, actual fight, right? So how I see kata is that they're more of self-defense techniques, because you can see more like grabbing techniques, and then you can see more painful techniques like break, or maybe strangle, or other gruesome techniques. And usually these are close range, like you see elbows, knees, and then different other complex techniques, no? what is your opinion po about kata and self-defense and their maybe relation?
Hmm. Para sa ating syempre sa ibang martial arts, iba syempre ang system nila to be able to develop for self-defense, no?
Mhm.
Sa atin, sa karate, ang system talaga natin ay may kihon, may kata, no?
Mhm.
So take a look at the progression, ano? I'm sure every one of us has experienced has had the same experience, ano? Kihon tayo, jab, reverse punch, kihon form, no? Jab,
Mhm.
reverse punch, kihon form. Okay? Then we do kata, no? We do kata, yan, oizuki, no? Same, gyakuzuki, no? Di ba? Yung nagkata tayo ng ganyan. Let's say unsu, may gyaku, may mawash, no? So, ganyan, ano?
Right.
And then, we will do one-step sparring or three-step sparring, kihon, no? Kihon kumite, no? In a formal form, no?
Mm.
So we will do sanbon kumite kunyari, di ba? Ganyan. Or sa mga more advanced, one-step sparring, no? Kihon ipon kumite. Okay? And then the instructor would say, okay, kumite na tayo. Then we will do kumite drills, no? Are we okay? Are we good?
Yeah, we just lost Ivana, no?
Okay.
Sorry, give me a moment.
Sige. No problem.
Oops, are we there? Sorry, give us a moment because we lost one of our co-hosts.
Yeah. Sorry guys. Ganyan naman talaga pagka may gadgets, no? Normal lang magkaroon ng technical difficulties.
There, okay, I think this one is more suitable. All right. So while we wait for Ivana, no, sige, sir, please continue po, Sensei Wally.
Yeah. So again, nag-kihon tayo, no? Kihon form, jab, reverse punch. And then nag sanbon kumite tayo, kihon ipon kumite, no?
Mhm.
Formal, one, bam, block counter. And then the instructor would say, oh, kumite na tayo, no? Kumite. So we do focus pad drills, no? We do
Alright.
partner drills. And then our techniques, Kizamitsuki, iba na, no? Pang-fighting na yung pang-fighting na yung ating Kizamitsuki and Gyakuzuki, no? Yung jab, reverse punch, pang-fighting na siya, no?
Right.
Alright? So, and then we will aabot tayo sa point na ayun na, nakikipaglaban na tayo, freestyle sparring, no? Freestyle na, wala nang set, di mo na alam gagawin nung kalaban mo, talagang laban na, no? And nakakalaban ka, no? Nananalo ka, no? Champion ka. Ganon. So on self-defense, okay, you do kihon, you'll do the kata, okay? The bungkai is kumbaga yung sanbon kumite, goon kumite, kihon ipon kumite, yung formal, di ba? Na kihon sparring, bungkai na yon, no? That's bungkai. That's application of your kihon and kata, no? Okay? Then biglang naging kumite form, and natuto ka na makipag-fighting. Okay. So self-defense, okay? Kihon, kata, okay? Bungkai is yung parang three-step sparring, no? Bungkai, nag-a-analysis ka na. Bungkai is analysis of the techniques. Okay? Yung kumite, so you're an athlete, nag-drills ka ng kumite, tapos natuto kang makipaglaban, that's oyo.
Yeah, oyo, right.
Oh, yeah. So if anybody there familiar sa word oyo, that's oyo. Is the principles of the technique and kata, you can now use it to fighting, no? So self-defense, yun pa rin yung process, no? Nagkihon ka, practice ka ng developing ka ng technique sa kihon, develop ka ng technique sa kata, then bungkai, analysis ng techniques ng kata, pero hindi tayo nag-ooyo. We don't practice the bunkai technique on a pad with a partner, on a shadow box, in a sparring, in a fighting form. We only practice it in the analysis form, a formal form.
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
getting me?
Yeah,
Are you getting me?
because I think that's what we are lacking, no? Like the
Yeah.
practicing with like a partner or like the pad.
Oo. Oo. Na the techniques now are practiced in a fighting form. Hindi na siya yung naka-formal kihon form.
Right.
No? So, dun sa OYO, hindi, bihira, kung may tumatawid man, bihirang-bihira, mag-practice ng OYO. No? So, on a dojo training, we will do kihon, we will do the kata, we will do the kihon kumites, we will do bunkai, but we'd never get to go to the OYO.
Yes.
No? Pero sa kumite, na-experience natin sa dojo training. No? So we're not even talking about athlete or sport karate training. No? This is just dojo training. So the process ng dojo training, di ba? Kihon, kata, no? Kihon, kumites, and then you get to oyo. Kumite form, no? Sparring form yung mga techniques, yung drills, sparring, and then matututo ka ng mag-fighting. No? Abot ka, nakikipag-freestyle sparring ka. No? Sa self-defense, we should be able to practice oyo, the techniques in combat at fighting form. And then what about the sparring aspect? We should practice self-defense scenarios.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So yun yung proseso ng karate, ng karate. Okay? So ganun yung proseso ng karate.
Because that to me is very interesting to me because for me and maybe a lot of other athletes and even black belts, no, how we see katas, or maybe at least for me, maybe that for how we see katas right now are like books, books of techniques, and then we have to understand the meaning of these techniques. So not just like, oh, I can read it, and then I know how to say it word for word. But what's the meaning? That's for me. That's how I see kata nowadays, or a lot of other katas, a lot of other katas with complex like complex techniques like the maybe X block, or maybe other katas with complex technique na Nijushiho, and then this one Kiai. So these are techniques that are hard to understand because we don't do them in regular basic, and then we also rarely do the bunkai and practice the oyo with a partner, right? So this to me is very interesting because this is what I want to train in also. No, being able to understand the application, because a single technique can have different applications. Like a rising block is not just a block; it can also be like hitting someone's neck, no, to separate him from you, or like that, no, a punch, or maybe a bottom fist, or many different other techniques especially with grabs. And I think this is something that we also need to understand the application and also practice it in, like what you said, Sensei Wally, in a sparring, almost in a sparring-esque form, no, being able to apply it on our opponent or target pad, the target.
Yes. Like in kumite, diba? Even if you're the defender, you learn how to attack, diba? If the defense is against kizami tsuki or jab, diba? So in a kumite, diba? You defend against a jab, bam, bam, diba? Ganon,
Right.
Pero you also know how to attack with a jab, diba? So in self-defense, let's say it's a defense against a double leg takedown. No? So you're the same process kung ano yung experience nyo sa training ng kumite, no? 'Di ba? Na dinaanan nyo rin yung whole process na nagkihon, then nagkata, and then ito na, pinag-gloves na tayo, 'di ba? The same way na marunong ka umatak ng technique ng Kizami-tsuki, and then your partner, he learns to defend, right?
Right.
So self-defense naman, sa kata, okay, may application sa kata, defense against a double leg takedown. So, yeah, I will do the oyo of that bungkai. No, I will defend against a double leg takedown. My attacker learns how to do a double leg takedown.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's correct. Oh,
Na,
it
na,
goes both
nakikita
ways.
nyo?
Oh, it
Kasi
goes
hindi
both
naman,
ways.
sa kumite, hindi naman defender lang natuto eh.
Oh, tama.
Attacker knows how to attack. He knows how to do his technique to attack.
Mm,
Yeah? He knows how to do a kumite maigeri. No? He knows how to do a mawashigeri kumite.
right.
No?
And another
And
good
he will
aspect
score.
about that,
Yeah.
no, yeah, being able to know how to attack and defend. Maybe the attacker, after being checked with that defense, he can like come up of a different way in attacking after being able, being unsuccessful. So I
Yes.
remember like like what's his name? Si Dog Makain na ba yun? Or like the knife,
Oh.
Filipino knife expert,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah.
I see his
Yeah.
his video also.
I saw one video actually very recently because me and Sensei David were talking about knife defense. He was talking about like a conversation, a physical conversation where he
Yes.
goes 1, 2, and then I know how to check that, and then he has to think about a way to come up with another attack so that it's not just a 1, 2, okay, and again, pam, pam. No, it's just 1, 2, and then what if this goes like this, or it goes another way, or it goes there's another attack. So that's an interesting thing to think about
Yeah.
also.
Ano siya, no? Merong flow, no?
Yeah,
It's
right.
like the
It's a flow.
the two partners are dancing,
Mm-hmm.
no? It's like they're communicating, no? So napakalalim
It
nun
is.
kahit sa sparring ng karate. No? To be able to move as your opponent moves
Yeah.
is very deep.
And I see some instructors, and I'm also guilty of this. No, whenever I try to show bunkai, and it's weird, no, because okay, I'm gonna show bunkai, or it's like attack me with this, and then he punches. No, no, other hand, other hand. It's just like I feel like if you're very knowledgeable about application and then and yeah, Oyo, you should be able to apply it on like at the other side, or maybe if there's an attack like that, you can do a different like self-defense technique, and it feels weird, it's like seeing other side. So it's like you're asking your opponent to attack like this, and that doesn't happen, right?
Choreographed na.
Yeah, it's choreographed
Pero
already. Yeah,
it's okay
it is okay. Yeah, no.
if you're still learning the technique.
I'm
No.
guilty of this also, eh.
It's okay if nando sa stage na nagle-learn ng technique like give me a roundhouse kick. He kicks with the front leg. No, with the back leg. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay kung nag-aaral pa lang ng technique. But again, you will learn the principle and then go to Oyo. When you get to Oyo, then hindi na dapat magmamatter kung front leg yung pinagsipa niya or back leg. So ganun pa rin yung
right.
ganun pa rin.
The principle. Right.
Kasi umabot ka sa point na nakikipag-freestyle sparring ka, hindi mo talaga alam ang gagawin ng kalaban mo, pero nakakalaban ka. So ganun pa rin yung dapat yung prinsipyo nung combative na karate na bungkai. And then yung analysis mo ng bungkai, yung principles nun, madadala mo siya sa pagkikipaglaban, which is yung self-defense.
Yes, of course. This is very important.
Yun yung process. Ganun yung process natin.
And I think that's also how all martial arts, especially traditional martial arts, should like operate in, because we see like lots of fancy moves, and it's like when you're doing these moves, you need to understand like the theory, diba? Or like the principles, no? Just like what Sensei Wally said, and then not just learning the theory, but also try to apply it, make it practical. So pressure testing it. So that's very important as maybe a methodology for martial arts, especially traditional martial arts, which because we see a lot of traditional martial artists masters get they look like fools, no, when they're trying to fight like MMA fighters. We see that a lot already. And then they get clobbered like, no, Wing Chun masters. Not to say that Wing Chun is like a bad martial art. It's just that they have to again study the principles and then try to apply it. And if that pressure testing is not good enough, I guess they need to adapt. But yeah, it's
Then again, no,
interesting.
yun na nga, pag magkaiba, kung kunyari, wing chun ako, no?
Mm-mm.
Magkaiba ang gagawin ko, ibang training na gagawin ko kung ang goal ko is makipaglaban dun sa MMA.
Right.
Iba yung training na gagawin ko kung nasa isip ko is ma-survive tong self-defense scenario na ganito.
Mm-mm.
See, magkaiba talaga yung yung kumbaga ay siya bugbog yung Kung Fu Master.
Mm-mm.
Kasi yung training niya hindi niya ginawang para dun sa magko-consensual fighting sila. Diba? Pero makita mo merong Kung Fu monk na successful siya dun sa I was shown a video and hindi ko na siya mahanap eh.
Uh-huh.
Pero merong kalbo siya Kung Fu monk na naging successful siya fighting dun sa ring, no? Sa loob ng ring.
Mm.
No, bang, bagsak. Because he trained, I'm sure he trained for it. He trained na Kung Fu siya pero nag-training siya para humarap dun sa consensual sport fighting,
Oh, that's
no?
very interesting, yeah.
Oo, pero talagang pagka ipipilit mo yung style of training mo, tapos iba yung goal, hindi talaga magtutugma, no? Either magulpi ka o baka hindi
Right,
ka
right.
makasurvive dun sa scenario. So, yung gano'n, ano.
It's
So,
I remember a saying, no, I don't know if it's a saying or kasi if you try to like force a technique, parang a technique like is parang a technique is like a fart daw. So like, parang utot. If you try to
oo.
force it, it's probably shit. No, yeah, okay.
Tama.
Oo nga. Yeah, kasi we see Kung Fu, no? And I think because of that kind of methodology of theory and then applying theory and practicing it and pressure testing it, I think we arrive at different styles so, of martial arts and fighting or combat sports. That's why I think aside from Kung Fu, they also developed Sanda, which is like a
Oo.
kickboxing, no,
Oo.
Chinese kickboxing martial art. So, which you can see is very different. No? The form of or how they fight is very different from
Oo.
um, their kung fu, their martial art. But again, self-defense and fighting are two different things. So,
Yes. Even ano nga even it's not just karate, no? All the way, other martial arts na may sport,
mm-mm,
no? Kung Fu, na yun nga, meron din silang sport,
right,
Taekwondo, even MMA na reality sport, no? Pero sport pa din. So every martial art na ang training is geared towards winning a competition, may advantage siya sa self-defense. Kagaya
yeah,
nung nabasa mo nga, no?
mm-mm,
May advantages, pero still the training should be tweaked
mm-mm,
for self-defense scenarios, no? So kahit anong
yes,
martial arts, hindi lang tayo sa karate, no? Kahit
yeah,
na ano pa, no? Kahit na mixed martial arts pa, yung training niya to fight in the ring should still be tweaked, no?
mm,
Kakalikutin pa din para training sa self-defense, no? Yeah,
right,
that's the reality.
of course, because there are
So,
some like karate or maybe like traditional techniques that can still work. Oh, that can still
oo.
work in these situations. It's just that not
So,
all, not the rigid forms, no. But there are some select techniques that are very much effective. So yeah, tweak it to your advantage, tweak it to adapt to the
oo.
situation. Yeah.
Oo. So, yun. Kasi, iba talaga yung nagte-training ka sa isang opponent lang ang kakalabanin na bound by rules, di ba?
Mm,
Actually, yung strategies mo, your whole strategy is also adapting to the rules, no?
right.
Kung
Yeah.
paano mo matitake
Oh.
advantage yung rules. So yung even yung training mo sa strategy, ano talaga, iba eh, no?
Yeah.
Iba.
Yeah.
So iba yung magte-training ka ng strategy for a self-defense scenario, no? Iba yung nagte-training ka tapos ang strategies na ine-ensayo mo para manalo dun sa tournament, no? So ano talaga, kailangan mag-adjust for for the training. Pero again, yung kagaya sabi ko kanina, it's possible na ma-merge sila, no? To come up with a holistic approach to your training. No? It's possible. It's very possible.
And I think, we see that, no, like the traditional karate and sports karate being merged and plug in JKS, no, doing that.
Yeah.
But that is very interesting, no, taking like the
To be
good
honest,
parts.
no, to be honest, non-bias. I'm really glad that we got into to Master Asai's karate. No,
Oh, yeah.
why? Because ang karate, nag-evolve eh. Yung karate ni Master Itosu, in-evolve niya to be more kumbaga appropriate in his time. And then Master Gichin Funakoshi evolved the karate, ginawang shotokan, tas ito because doon sa panahon, no, napapanahon, doon sa panahon niya, angkop doon sa panahon niya, no? And then kay Master Asai, in-evolve na naman niya yung karate, yung shotokan karate, para dito sa mas moderno pang panahon natin, ano? So, kumbaga, we're talking about self-defense. Napapanahon, angkop sa panahon natin yung training system na ginawa ni Master Asai dito sa JKS. Ano? So, example, kung inisip niyo ba, paanong paraan, no? Example, yung luwag. If you watch, hindi na natin inabutan si Master Asai in person, in action, no? Pero tignan natin yung kanyang videos. Talagang pinasok niya sa shotokan niya, sa style niya ng shotokan, yung luwag, no? Which is very, very important sa combat training. Ano? So, in fact, even in your kumite, even when you do your kumite, you have to be so loose.
Yeah.
So relaxed.
You can't be tense, or pattern, ganun eh. Yeah.
Oo. So, di ba, yung galaw dito doing the Junro kata are different, no? Meron siyang tamang luwag tapos tamang tigas, ano? That's my opinion, ano? Yan ang nakita ko na lumapit tayo sa training ng self-defense through this system, ano? Kaya nakakatuwa. Para sa akin, no? Nakakatuwa na, uy, ang ganda. Talagang gandang-ganda ako, no? Sa totoo lang. Gandang-ganda ako sa sistema. No?
Yeah, so karate evolves.
No bias aside, no? Objective lang, no? Objective. Napakaganda. So, yung mga ganun, ano? So, yan.
Yeah. So, the evolution
not to mention techniques, di ba? Maraming nadagdag na techniques.
Oh, yeah. The Koten katas, which has like a lot of different techniques we're not used to.
Natre-train. So again, ang training ng traditional karate do, di ba? Meron tayong kihon, may kata. That's part of our training to fight. So yung training natin to fight, no, merong mga nadagdag na kata, nadagdagan ng techniques, no? Mga kakaibang technique. So that's really for me very good innovations. No? Very good innovation.
Yeah.
For self-defense.
Right. Joining JKS, it's like for us there's like books to read about the katas, like knowing how to do this kata, and then when we joined JKS, there came in the Koten katas. Now it's like we have more books to read again. So and understand, that's another thing. Yeah. So yeah. We are very lucky as a club. But yes.
In fairness, other Shotokan styles, Sensei Naka, din, no? Ini-evolve niya yung Shotokan niya into his own style na hindi lang para makagawa siya ng sarili na style, no? It's translating it in a more appropriate or should I say mas appropriate sa panahon, no? Sa panahon natin ngayon, his bungkai, his technical analysis, no?
Yeah.
So, yung mga ganon, no?
I
Pero
do
sa atin
follow.
yeah.
No, sorry, I was gonna say I do follow Sensei Naka's I don't know if it's
Oh,
Sensei Naka's channel,
yeah.
but yung Kurobi World, where he
Yeah,
trains with
Kurobi.
like different kung fu masters and
Oo.
even a boxer, no? No, so
Yes,
he's
yes.
really pressure testing his
Oo.
knowledge in karate. But sorry, yeah, you were
Oo.
saying po.
Kaya in many ways na-evolve din niya yung ano, no, yung Shotokan, no,
Mm.
in his own ways. No? Pero kumbaga sa atin lang dito sa GKS, binigyan tayo ng mga makabagong training methods, no, na sa mga Junro kata, no? At yung mga tamo yung mga paikot-ikot, no, talagang napakagandang ensayo. Kumbaga training exercises 'yan eh, no? Napakagandang ensayo, no? So kumbaga
Right.
dinagdagan tayo
Yes.
ng mga training, no? Ng training.
Yeah.
So parang gano'n, no? Parang gano'n.
Because karate or any martial arts cannot be stagnant. It has to constantly evolve, no? Again,
Evolve,
it's like
yes.
science and technology and society. We
Oo.
have to continuously develop new ways
Yes.
of thriving. And again, it's all about that theory and pressure testing that theory and keep on pressure testing. That's how we evolve. So thank you very much, no, Sensei Wally. Is there any I don't like this word. Any final words? Any final thoughts what you would like to say to the audience about self-defense or your maybe even your blog po?
Oo. Ah, so wala lang. I just like to invite everyone to support my blog.
Mm.
Though lately medyo di ako nakakadagdag ng sulat kasi sa totoo lang ah dumadating lang yung bigla yung inspiration para may
Right,
maisulat ako eh.
yeah.
Pag wala, hindi ko rin fino-force.
It happens nga po.
Oo. And also, I encourage my fellow karatekas to entertain the idea of kumbaga, you don't have to wait until antayin ko na lang na mag-retire ako sa sport karate bago ako mag self-defense training, no? So you don't ako kumbaga sayang yung panahon, ang tagal din, di ba? Na hindi ko nadugtungan. So ngayon na na-realize ko meron palang mga means and ways na pag gawing holistic ang training ng isang karatista. Kunyari si Alex, pwede niyang gawing holistic yung training niya, no,
Yeah.
na madali niya na habang tinatahak niya yung competition na training na rin niya yung self-defense niya, no. It's very possible, ano. So you just have to open your mind na the kind of training will develop you will help you win and at the same time develop your self-defense. Kasi baka nanghihinayang eh. Oh, baka pag nag-self-defense ako, baka hindi na ako manalo. Di ba? Sayang yung training eh. Konti na nga lang yung oras. So very scarce kasi yung oras natin sa training eh. Di ba? Marami tayong ginagawa sa buhay natin, di ba? Nag-aaral, no? Pero ganun pa man, maiksi man ang oras natin to train dahil busy tayo sa mga everyday life natin. We can come up with a holistic approach to our training and try to develop ourselves both in sport and it complements, no, the sport will help your self-defense and your self-defense will help your
Yes.
your sports,
Yeah,
no.
very much. Yes.
So yan, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Before we leave, no, again, Sensei Wali's blog is in the in the chat. We the check the pin message in the chat. And again, usually at this point of time, we would do some takeaways, but I can't. There's so much. I would
There's so much
probably,
stuff to
yeah,
reveal.
yeah, I would probably watch this video again just to learn to put it back in my head because there's so much that we discussed.
Salamat.
Yeah, and thank you very much, Sensei Wally. And again, check out his blog. He talks about all stuff about karate, self-defense, and everything in between. So check him out. And again, thank you to our sponsors, Anchorland, Egayap, Culture Blends, Casa Cielo, Unitech, and TKL Steel Corp. So again, before we leave, guys, for inquiries, okay, because we just reopened our gym today. Okay,
Yes.
so
Oh.
so if you are interested in having face-to-face classes finally after 2 years this way, yeah. So for inquiries, please contact us. Okay, for if you are interested in face-to-face classes, online classes, and blended classes, which is an in between, right? So thank you very much, Sensei Wally.
So much.
Thank you,
Yes,
Ren. It's an honor.
yes. Oh, very much. This episode was more than what I wanted already.
We look forward to training more self-defense when we go
Yeah,
back face to face.
I'm
Mm,
excited
yes,
to
very much.
teach also.
Yeah,
You're very much welcome.
I can finally like
Training.
feel that gap that's missing in my
Yeah.
martial arts journey. Being
Sige,
able to learn
sige.
self-defense, kata, bunkai, oyo, everything is so much a lot, so much. I don't know how to speak English anymore. Okay, but thank you very much, guys.
Alright.
Sige, that's it.
Sige.
Sensei Wali.
Sus,
Yeah, and
have a
everyone
good
watching,
evening, guys.
yeah, see you guys next week. Next week, next week. Okay.
Next week, I think. Yeah.
Next week. Okay. Bye bye.
Alright. Bye.
So that's it for this week. Thank you for listening, guys.
We hope you and your family enjoyed this episode.
Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And don't forget to hit that notification bell. I'm Ivana.
I am Alex.
I am Prince.
I am Ella.
And this
And
is
we are the Unarmed
Podcast.
Podcast.
Let's
Let's
go.
go!